further discussed since this, basically. So yes, I guess it's gonna depend further on the discussions on the team and the future person who's gonna be in charge of the project. So we don't have any new updates.
Okay, I'm Paul. I'm dating from the times there was no ESN card yet. Since it's kind of flagship project, why not connecting directly the ESN card to the membership fee of the section? For instance, not each section is using yet the ESN card. The idea is that everybody is going to use it. It's kind of commitment to the organization that you use the ESN card. An idea, you pay 80 euro for as a section as a membership fee, and you get 50 ESN cards for free. So you have them already. So now there's the individual membership, the ESN card. There's a section membership fee. Why not connecting them? You become part of ESN International as a section. You pay your membership fee. You get 50 ESN cards for free. So you have them. You have to use them. This is kind of, I don't know. It's not easy.
Okay. Well, was it only a comment? Okay. Yes.
Giovanna, you have been involved in finance committee first as a member, then as a chair, and we know each other quite well in the committee, and now your position toward us will change. And my question is, how do you see our further cooperation in our committee?
Well, I guess it quite differs when someone becomes elected as a board member, and it also kind of influences the part whether the person was in part of the committee or not. Due to the fact that I was part of the committee for already 2 years and chair for the last year, I believe, I strongly believe in people in the committee and that we succeed to professionalize our committee in the past year. So therefore, I strongly believe that there would be more and more involvement from the finance committee in helping the treasurer and partnership manager.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? I don't see anyone, so I propose to close the speakers list. Any objections? Is this an objection? Huh? Yeah, then please come.
Hi, my name is Alejandra from ESN Museum Madrid, Spain. First of all, congratulations for your presentation. And now, you mentioned that you want to encourage sections to use the ESN card. How exactly do you plan to do this?
Referring to the sections that are not using it yet. Well, the number of sections that are not using the cards are very low, and it's getting lower and lower. So basically, we already we have a team working on the ESN card for already a year, and for that year, we already succeed to lower the number of sections not using the cards. We are contacting some of them directly, trying to find out the reasons why they're not actually using it and trying to tackle it. Also in the future, especially if the project becomes a flagship project, there is going to be a lot of broad activities that are going to be involved in the network. That's going to be presented tomorrow for the flagship project, so you can hear more about it then. So basically, I believe that it's going to facilitate a lot for the sections to actually start participating in the project. And it's definitely going to be supported by the team, future team.
Thank you very much.
I propose again to close the speakers list. Are there any objections? This is not the case. So I close the speakers list, and on the speakers list are still Stephanie, Luc, Yanis, and Wim. The speakers list is closed.
Okay, hi, Stephanie from Axis and Wageningen, the Netherlands. As a treasurer, it's very important to be steadfast. So can you give a concrete example of a situation that confirms that you possess this skill? Steadfast, that you can say no, that you're strong in your shoes.
Okay. Well, basically, I would not refer to my work done in the ISA network, but mostly during my internships, since I was working in a system for risk, for credit risk department and internal controlling system. So there, I was kind of I was facing with a lot of situations where I needed to be quite strict. So basically, there I kind of needed to deal with situations like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Luc from ISA Utrecht, in the Netherlands. If you're standing here in 1 year with your year report, what do you want to be the thing that you're most proud of?
Well, hopefully, I hope that, well, I'm going to work on all three my ideas that I was mentioning. I believe that partners are something, the ideas I mentioned for the partners, the long-term one and something. So I'm really hoping that there's going to be more companies that we're going to renew the contracts with. As for the ESN card project, I'm hoping that, well, it can be measurable. Less sections that are not reached by our project, for example. And as for the training, well, if we organize the training well, and I really hope that more countries and sections are gonna actually show the will to participate in it and evaluate it as positive.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Janis from Cologne, Germany. And my question is, today we've seen that as treasurer, you can be the target of harsh criticism. Where do you take the courage from, and especially what's your personal motivation to still run for this office as the only candidate here?
Well, I believe, it is definitely very important for any board member, I would say, to be kind of stress resistant and everything, because in general, board members, as we know, can be kind of very often criticized by the network or by NRs especially. For example, being an NR, I have already an experience behind myself to be maybe at some point criticized by my own network, my own national level and something, and I needed to deal with it and to overcome it, and also to find a way to approach them again and yes, deal with them again. So yes, definitely, I think that that's something that in these positions we would need to deal with and to go through it.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Wim from ASM Belgium, and I want to congratulate you with your candidacy. But I have one question, and that is that after the results for the last audit were published a few weeks ago, and they will be presented tomorrow, what would be the first things that you want to focus on to improve the situation?
Well, I believe that there is still 3 months of current treasurer to go. But I guess that would be something to be done in accordance with the current treasurer and as well as the people who did the audit. So basically to kind of start prioritizing things and maybe put some order and then start doing it that way.
Thank you very much, Ivana, for your answer. Okay, as promised, we have another fun activity. You will train your finger a little bit again, and we're gonna repeat the test for the voting devices.
Don't touch it.
No, you're not leaving. Nobody is leaving.
Okay, second part of the previous test. So we're going to do it again. Group 1, get ready. Vote in 3, 2, 1. Taking the floor, okay? Anna? Anna? No, no, actually, it looks like there's an issue with the internet of a few more minutes. 1 second.
I didn't love with this shit.
Yeah, take it.
I know it's right, but the problem is here. There's no place.
Okay, so we were saying group 1, the vote in 3, 2, 1, vote now. Okay, we're going to redo it. Okay, so group 1, vote now. All of you. Okay, group 2, get ready. On this side. Okay, vote now. Okay. Group 3, get ready. Group 3, vote now. Okay. Group 4, get ready. Vote now. Okay, well, thank you again for your patience.
Thank you very much. Okay, no applause needed. We're gonna continue with the candidate presentation. I will quickly introduce the tasks of the communication manager and the skills needed. Okay, the communication manager is responsible for the management of communication tools. What a surprise. Development of communication strategy, community management and information provision to ESN members, students, stakeholders, and the general public. The communication manager is also responsible for media relations, as well as brand management of ESN and its projects, monitoring of the external image and identity of the organization. The communication manager takes care of the provision of promotional materials for the whole network. What kind of skills do you need to fulfill these tasks? PR-related skills are creative writing skills, communication studies are desirable, good knowledge of social media is becoming even more important, good communication skills and PR experience or skills. Personal skills needed are flexibility, scalability, creativity, networking skills, being supportive, and being convincing and persuasive. Having said this, we will continue with the presentation. And I invite Alexandra on stage for her presentation.
Good evening, everybody. Dear NRs, National Board, dear sections. Great pleasure, I'm presenting my candidacy for the Communication Manager of ESN International. I will tell you a little bit about myself, what's my experience, what's my ESN story, and most importantly, why I would like to be your next Communication Manager. So who am I? I'm Alexandra Nikolic. Some of you already know me. I'm 25 years old. I have a bachelor degree in communication and PR and a master's in studies in international development. I've lived in 5 countries so far, and I speak about 3.5 languages. My work experience, I've started my work experience in Portugal, where I was a communications intern in Vice magazine. Then I worked in Malaysia for 2 years. Then Budapest as an online marketing manager for a acquired BlaBlaCar company, as well as I've been doing freelance for the past 2 years in Romania, and not only. What is my ESN story, if you wonder? I started as a vice president of my local section in ESN Iași. I've been a national president for the last year in ESN Romania, and re-elected vice chair in Comcom. A couple of my achievements in ESN Romania, I worked very closely with the communication manager of ESN Romania. We've set up the website, we've worked with our communication intern, we've set up the big events, creating promotional strategy and the branding of these. We've done partnerships and the communication strategy for the last year and the upcoming year. What have I done in Comcom? First off, I've led 4 beautiful teams, and I've been a supervisor of the last 2 Express magazine, 20 and 21st. I've worked on the Facebook screening campaign that Comcom did last summer. History book, the This is ESN campaign that right now we're all using the banners, right from its beginning. Comcom Tips, campaign that right now the social media team in Comcom is running, as well as a 25th anniversary campaign right from the strategy to its implementation. A couple of effects of my work, better understanding of how sections use Facebook and social media. I understand more how the national boards and sections are working and what are their main issues. We've reached with the 25th anniversary campaign 1 million people with 0 budget, which is a very big achievement for our network. I've created alongside with Robert and Comcom a new strategy of content that is coming out of ESN. What am I proud of? I like to say that I've taken ESN Romania from nada to Prada, because I worked on helping ESN Romania have a financial stability, a communication strategy, as well as I've worked on representing in front of stakeholders, universities, European Institute in Bucharest, as well as the national agency. What is my vision for ESN? Well, I have my communication strategy developed on 3 pillars. One is external communication, and I believe that ESN should focus more, continue working on having a very strong brand in front of stakeholders to represent ourselves as a very strong organization that is promoting mobility, the Erasmus Plus program, as well as interculturality. I also want to work on network communication because I believe that we can have better channels that we can communicate, especially with the communication managers, as well as capacity building, last but not least, because I've seen recently also in the regional platform that I've attended, as well as in the communication summit that happened in Brussels 2 weeks ago, that a lot of boards have issues when it comes to communication, how they work with the sections, and I would really like to help you and empower you, because I believe that the more we work together, the better you become as communicators, the better we become as a network. Why we should choose me as the next communication manager? Well, because I'm very passionate. I've been in ESN for quite a long time, so I've experienced all levels. I have proven results. And last but not least, because I want to help you lead ESN forward. Thank you for your attention.
Next, I invite Rafa on stage for his presentation.
Mic test, mic test. So like Alex, I'm also going to stand here because otherwise you won't see me. All right. Hello, everyone. My fellow ESNers, my name is Gafar, and today I'm here to present to you my candidacy for the Communication Manager of ESN International. Let's see. First of all, thank you. First of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to move on to my ESN experience. After that, I'll finish off with my vision for the communication of ESN. Who am I? This is me. My name is Gafar. I am 25 years old at the moment, just as old as ESN. I am Singaporean. This is my beautiful country. But I've lived in the Netherlands for the past 5 years, in Rotterdam, and I've done my Erasmus in Ljubljana just last semester. What have I done in ESN? I apologize. What have I done before ESN? I founded a local music podcast where I edited audio, interviewed bands, and also ran the promotion. I've done some graphic design. I've been a photographer at events, especially concerts. I've been an art director for a small film. And I've also organized events, the most prominent example being a 3-day music festival in Singapore. Now we move on a little bit more, and then I started going into writing. So I've been a journalist. I've written copy for websites and products. I've been an editor-in-chief of the magazine of my faculty, as well as an ambassador for my university, where I would travel to other universities and schools and promote my university. I have studied international communication management in the past, and right now I'm studying communication and media at the Erasmus University in Rotterdam. And my ESN experience, I've gone from the local to the international. I've done, to begin with, presidency at the ESN in Holland, Rotterdam, my first section. Joining my second section, I've been in the social events committee, and I've been an organizing committee member for the Western European platform. And then we go on to national. I've been head of OC of one of our national events in the past, in 2012, a football tournament. I've been a national delegate of ESN in the Netherlands, and I've had some chairing experiences at the national platforms. On the international level, I started out in the communication committee as an express and proofreading team coordinator. And then I was elected vice chair before I became chair. And at about this time, I've been chair for about a year. The projects that I've been involved in the communication committee, most prominently the history book, a project that I initiated the update of when I became external vice chair. Several other projects, including a couple of Express magazines, and one of my proudest achievements in the committee is #ThisIsESN, which was launched at the last AGM. A couple of campaigns and also an ESN style guide, something that we've never done before, and I'm proud to say has been released and published. So, I've attended a series of ESN events, like many other people in this room, and now I'm going to tell you about the plan. The plan is simple. There are three things that I find really important in communication, and this is outlined in my vision. First of all, image and culture. I think we've started to raise awareness about image and culture in the past year and a half maybe, and I plan on bringing it forward. I think it should begin by the board. The board should represent themselves well and represent the organization well at events such as this, at CNRs, and also external representation. So that's the board at the top of the pyramid. We move on now to the events like this, workshops, presentations, where you guys can directly benefit from awareness raising in communication. And then to reach the wider network, campaigns. I really love campaigns. Campaigns engage everyone, and we have seen that they are effective if they are done well. Total communication is my next idea. The idea of total communication is that communication needs to be unified. You need to communicate one message throughout the entire organization, and that's difficult. So in order to do that, you need to start from the communication manager. You must have a good relationship with the communication intern. Now, having done that, of course, you still have the communication committee. At the moment, 50 members, a very strong support system for the international communication. You also have international project PRs, from Educate to Social Erasmus and all the other projects. And then lastly, you have the national communications managers. This group is now being called the Communication Summit. I like to think that we've had a very successful meeting, the first one, and I would like to continue this and develop this further. And lastly, a comprehensive strategy. There's no point thinking about doing all these things without carefully planning it. Comprehensive communication strategy has to start with an analysis. What are our strengths? What are our opportunities? What can we improve? We start with internal communication to make sure that everything inside our organization works well, with campaigns that engage everyone, and also dissemination to make sure that news travels effectively throughout all layers of the organization. You have external communication, and that involves, at the moment, something that I think we can really fulfill the potential of mass media. A couple of examples of what I could do. I think there can be better dissemination in the network so that everyone stays well informed about everything that happens on the international level. We've had some good examples of this in the past year, and I think we can continue doing this even more. Engaging campaigns, like I said, some of the examples that we've done before. And lastly, a YouTube channel. We've been very strong in videos over the past year and a half.
Now I invite Ines on stage for her presentation.
So, hello everyone. Can you hear me in the back? Yeah? Okay. So, my name is Ines, and I'm very proud and happy to be presenting my candidacy for Communication Manager of this beautiful network. So, a little bit about me. I come from Portugal. I'm 25 years old. I'm a traveler by heart and a social media addict, and I made my Erasmus exchange in Finland. Shortly after, my ESN journey began in ESN Lisbon in October 2012.
I was engaged in the local level very actively, and shortly after became very engaged in the national level, which brought me to the international level. My first event in international level was an educate event, and I've been developing my training skills for the last 2 years and delivering trainings at the local, national, and international level. Shortly after that, I joined ComCom. At this moment, I already knew that my biggest passion was communication. So joining this amazing group of insanely creative people was only a hub for me to develop and gain even more skills. At this point, I started thinking I could apply this expertise that I gained in ComCom and in all my experiences, also in a project that at that time was very neglected, especially in terms of communication. So I've been a member of the ESN CARD team and developed all the communication for the last 1 year. And finally, I've been very in touch with the ESN environment, not only in the local, but also in the international level through my position as NR at ESN Portugal. So right now we are here at the annual general meeting in Ankara, and I want to tell you why does my ESN story matter. Throughout all these years, I've gained a lot of experience. First, I have 2 years of board and coordination experience in the local level in a section that has 50 volunteers and takes care of 4,000 Erasmus students in an environment that has three Erasmus companies. I have a deep knowledge of the CNR, not only by being a part of strategic meetings and taking part in discussions, but also by being an NR, I can understand the needs and communication of this group of people. I have a big insight in the committee and the potential that they have to develop even further. I have training and facilitating skills, and of course, and very important for this position, I have technical skills. So I've been developing graphics and publications in ESN and outside, in the local, national, and international level. Through the ESN CARD project, I have a chance to develop web design and testing features for websites, which is very important because we have a lot of these platforms in our network. I'm a part of the social media team in ESN, in the communication committee, and I was involved in a lot of campaigns, also in the This is ESN campaign from the beginning of the creation of the idea. I'm involved in the marketing and social media strategy of ESN Portugal, and of course, I've developed all the social media strategy and communication strategy for ESN CARD. Finally, I was also part of the 3 crazy people that re-established the national committee in ESN Portugal. So what's my plan? First of all, strong services. Through the IT and communication strategy, we've seen that this is the way to go to bring value to the membership fee that you pay to ESN International. So having services like ESNCard.org, ErasmusIntern.org that provide benefits to your students, but also to the network with templates that you can use, and also with training guidelines that you can use from the national level to your members. Second, strong branding, a cohesive branding between all the projects, and of course, communicating the message of ESN. This is where ComCom can also play a bigger role, producing and conveying the message that other bodies of ESN, produce, like ICE, for example, and NEC, and all the other committees. And finally, a strong community. We've seen, and I've just confirmed, what was always my biggest conviction in ESN, that joining training and communication is the way to go to bring the level up in ESN. So this is what I think I can bring my skills and assets into just putting in place a structure that conveys this strong message. So why me? First, because I've proven that I have the skill set required for the communication manager. I know the needs of the sections and I'm in touch with them. I know the environment, not only in Brussels, but also the communication committee, the project teams, and the national communication managers. I have a training background, which allows me not only to deliver training, but to evaluate and to develop training structures that work. I have new and feasible ideas. So I believe that right now, ESA International has raised the bar very high in the international level in terms of communication. The challenge now is to bring this back to you. So what I propose to you is that with the expertise of all the members involved in all these different fields that are presented, we can do this together. Thank you.
I ask all the candidates back on stage, and the speaker list is open.
Oh shit, I just realized that the streaming is here. Yeah. They were probably saying, Tiago, get out of the way!
Guys, can we please be quiet so we can start the question round?
Hello, can you hear me? Hi, I'm Halina from ESN Poland. First of all, congratulations for a very professional presentation. And I have a question to all of you. How do you see the future of Moving Europe when it's not going to be the flagship project anymore? And do you still consider it to be only the mobility promo campaign, or you have the other ideas? Do you still consider it to be like only the promo campaign of mobility, or you have the other ideas?
I should start because I have the microphone. To be honest, I don't have other ideas. I've experienced Moving Europe in a national level, let's say, with our national agency. And I think it should stay as a mobility program that promotes ESN and Erasmus, and the fact that people should try to reach further in their lives.
Okay, so Moving Europe, I really hope will stay as a project, even if it's not a flagship project, because there's so much potential that can be fulfilled still. The team has done an outstanding job, I feel, but the implementation has been a bit lacking. So I really hope that this can continue. Promotion, sorry. Okay, so in terms of whether it's, I mean, it is a campaign that is built on promotion and communication. We are trying to spread a message, but I mean, we have to realize as well that the message is built upon a value. And it is important to take into account that we're not just going there talking to people about stuff, we're talking to people about stuff that we believe in, and this is what's important. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope the project stays around. I think it has been implemented to its full potential. For the other things other than just being promotion, I think there's a lot of events going on in network which are actually Moving Europe events. So I think it's just raising much more awareness that you don't need to change your event to be a Moving Europe event. It's just being aware that this is a Moving Europe event, even though you call it, I don't know, an info market and info day at the university. So I think that definitely should continue, and we should even emphasize more the branding of the project.
Okay, thank you guys.
Okay, Asha, ESN Poland Exchangeability team. And regarding what Tiago said, do you guys think that Exchangeability can be in charge of communication manager? And if yes, then could you suggest any promotional changes?
Well, definitely, I think it's a project that could increase definitely by the communication manager being in charge of it. Promotional tips. I think right now the project is going through a restructuring, and you can't really promote it while you find your spot. Like while you didn't find what's happening and what's the vision of the project, you can't really promote it. So I would think it's more advisable to wait and see what we have and how it's going to develop, especially with the restructuring of the map. It's important to think about that before you go into promotion. Thank you.
I've actually discussed this project with my NP recently, and I believe that in terms of communication, this project should have like a very clear idea of where it's leading to, and at the same time try to develop more strategies so that we could get to our stakeholders that they can help us put all the countries on the map.
Thank you, Asha. In terms of exchangeability, I outlined in my presentation that I would like to put a focus on mass media, and I think that exchangeability is one of the projects that has a big potential for us to go into mass media. Exchangeability is something that not only affects our organization, but it is something that the wider society is challenged by, and therefore I think if we were to promote this message towards the wider society, it would be a huge potential there. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Hello, Kacper Olczyk, ESN Poland. Hashtag come from love. My question will be to all candidates. So many members on local level are unaware of the need for professional and unified communication. They do not follow the rules such as visual identity manual because they don't know its goal. So how would you explain them why do we need those rules, and what actions would you take for them to understand this need?
Well, okay, I think first of all, I spoke about image and culture in my presentation. I said you have to begin with setting a good example. The international board has to set a good example to the people they work with, the CNR, the committees and all the other things. You as NRs, you have the responsibility towards your national platform. And here, we as all ESNers, everything that we do, pictures are being taken, videos are being made, our Erasmus students are seeing it. So everything that we do is an example for everyone else. We need to remember that. Thank you.
To be honest, I think it's very hard to go from the international level directly to the sections. And I do believe in the national PRs and the importance of them, because if you make them understand the importance of CI, then they will be able to pass on the information. Something else I would also like to emphasize on is the fact that it would be very easy, I think, and when it comes to convincing them to use CI and the right brand when it comes to ESN, is to show them how other sections or countries are doing, because they might feel a little bit left behind and they would like to raise the bar for themselves too.
So first of all, I think it's definitely the way to go to first have this conveyed to the national level, because you can never reach directly to the local level without having a good example, not only by the international, but also by their national level. Second, I think that sometimes there's a little bit of a negative feeling towards the CI, because people sometimes are very harsh on the errors and they focus on criticism. So I think we need to change a little bit the mentality and have a more loving approach, let's say, in this, and encourage them to use them, but without criticizing the bad use of the CI.
Thank you, and good luck to all the candidates.
Hello, I'm Amber, the graphics team coordinator. Ines, you showed some examples of your work. So my question is to Alex and Gafar. Do you have enough technical design skills to create small promotions and campaigns, or do you plan to outsource this work to ComCom?
I do have some Photoshop skills. I can't design. This is what you're asking, but I'm able to create small promotional materials.
So, good question, very good question. I have some basic Photoshop skills across the whole range of software that graphic designers should be capable of using. But I think, I mean, the job of the communication manager is not to design directly, but to manage. Obviously, it is very useful if the communication manager has those skills, but it is more useful for the communication manager to be able to build a good so-called client-provider relationship with a designer. So to answer your question directly, I think a good support system is what we need in ESN International, so that the communication manager doesn't spend too much of his time on executive tasks. And this lies in bodies such as the communication intern and communication committee. Yes.
Hi, and Ben, I would like to ask regarding the projects that we have, which one do you think needs a necessary new campaign and why?
Okay, so I think all the projects would benefit from having the communication manager in charge of them, because then you have directly someone who knows a lot about communication. But the projects with the widest range should naturally be the ones, in my opinion, that benefit the most, because if the target is bigger, then it's more difficult to reach it effectively. So I would say that Moving Europe and Social Erasmus are right now very accurate, which doesn't exclude, of course, that I would, if elected, I will work with all the PR managers and encourage them to have a cohesive branding throughout all the projects. Thank you.
Having a strong ESN brand also includes working closely with international project managers. And I do believe that one of the projects that needs very close attention is Social Erasmus, because as far as I know, it wasn't correctly implemented so far. And having a new vision and empowering sections to do more and more activities, you will get better visibility and you'll perceive a little bit different.
All right, so I think one challenging campaign that could be executed, implemented for an international project is responsible party. Responsible party, the problem, so-called, with the responsible party is that, I mean, let's face it, we're students, we're young people, we drink on occasion. So it's a message that is difficult to communicate to people of our age. This is why I think if you take the right approach and raise awareness in the right way, we could have much better promotion for a responsible party.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Magda Wodarska, ESN Poland. Great presentation, by the way. And I have a question to Gafar and to Ines regarding campaigns, recent campaigns. What was your favorite campaign? What was your contribution in? Plus, now, would you change something, do something differently?
Okay, so I'll reference two of them. We had a very successful recruitment campaign in Portugal, led by one of our members for our national communication committee. That I worked more as a manager and someone who was implementing more. And in ComCom, definitely this is the ESN campaign. This was a challenge in the communication committee meeting, and I was in the group that came up with the initial idea and the hashtag itself. So it's very proud moment for me to see it spread around the network so much.
Okay, so I believe the campaigns should be simple and they should be engaging. I don't have a different answer. I have to say, of course, as well. This is ESN is, I think, one of the biggest, most wide-reaching campaigns that the Erasmus Student Network has ever seen, internally at least. For that campaign, I was in charge of coming up with the contest that led to it. My members in the communication committee gave the ideas of the campaign that eventually became what it is, and myself and my charity team developed it, refined it, and then released the final details to the network. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Evan from ESN Greece. I am a little bit covered by the but all of you mentioned your contribution to This is ESN and to the 25th anniversary. Could you briefly, all of you, explain what you offer to those projects and what's your role in them? What's your role?
Okay, so I just answered the question about This is ESN. I'm going to quickly address ESN 25. ESN 25 was, I think, it's a wider campaign with all kinds of different things. There was the logo, there was the event. In Utrecht, there was some kind of focus as well on ESN 25, also with the release of the Thunderclap campaign. I was involved in, for example, the history book, which was part of the whole 25th anniversary as well. And as a charity member, I was also involved in the execution of, say, things like the Thunderclap campaign, the hashtag, and things like that.
When it comes to the This is ESN campaign, I wasn't in the initial group, but I was asked to join later. And I worked with together with the other vice chair of Comcom, Jan, to see where we want this campaign to go and what we would like to do for this AGM, and when we would like it to end, most importantly. When it comes to the This is ESN campaign, I worked on with one of our social media members to have all the promotional materials for the Comcom Facebook page for the history book, as well as I've created all the designs and all the promotional materials that came out of the ESN campaign, all the copy. I've worked with a designer to have all the designs done, and I've also helped Robert in writing the text for the Thunderclap, so that we have it released.
Okay, so for the ESN I already covered. I was in the initial group that came up with the concept and came up with the hashtag. Actually, for the hashtag ESN 25, I didn't state that I was involved. I was involved in the brainstorming in one of the meetings, but I wasn't so involved in this campaign.
I propose to close the speakers list. Are there any objections? Would these people please come to the stage?
Hello guys, I'm Elizabeth from ESN Greece. My question goes to Gafar. In your plan, you mentioned that you would like to approach the media. My question is, how do you plan to do so since the media is mainly local?
Okay, so I think, the reason why media is a big part of my plan is because ESN has had not so much of an approach to mass media. There's a lot of potential there. Before we even begin, of course, we have to analyze the situation and see what kind of media are available. We need to make sure that the media are available and also that the media are interested. So first of all, I think it's very important for the communication manager to build relationships with a pool of journalists, a pool of reporters, and not just any, but pools of journalists and reporters that are interested in the news that we might have. There have been a couple of examples in European news websites such as EU Observer, but national news might also be interested in our messages if we target them carefully. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you all for your presentations. I have one little question for Gafar. What would have been your closing argument?
Sorry?
What would have been your closing argument?
I was going to finish my slides with the reasons why you should vote for me, and the 3 reasons are that I am people-oriented, and that I'm results-oriented, and that I'm passionate about my work.
Thank you. Juan from ESN Spain. First of all, congratulations on your presentation. Truly amazing, all of them. Now my question is going to be different for all of you. It's about your long-term vision on some of the communication channels of ESN. So for Gafar, pick your long-term vision on the newsletter. For Alex, please on the magazine, and Ines on Facebook.
Okay, so
when it comes to the Express magazine, unfortunately right now it's not going to be published in a physical format, but we've decided that it should have a more external related content that will show, because we have a lot of communication channels through which we show what we do in ESN, try to engage our members and so on. So I believe that the Express magazine should have a more external oriented content that we can reach other stakeholders and show them what we do in ESN and why it's important for them to be our partners.
Okay, so for the Facebook page, I think right now it's a little bit in full capacity in terms of promotion. I don't think there's much that we can do to change it. However, I would like to emphasize more on not only promoting our projects, like all the international project partners, etc., but also emphasize on the local level and have even more pictures of our volunteers more regularly than just on welcome days and etc. Thank you.
Okay, so in terms of newsletters, I think newsletters from ESN International are one of the core ways that ESN International communicates with the rest of the network. I think that the newsletter has to be very simple to read, that you can get the news quickly. But if you want to get more news, that you have the option of clicking on a certain link to go forward. I also think the most important thing in the newsletter is that it has to be regular. If people start losing trust in the regularity of the newsletters, then they simply may not read it again in the future. So at the moment, we have a structure that we believe is sustainable, although the structure is rather new. So if it does prove to be sustainable, then I think it can very effectively contribute to regular communication. Thank you.
Hello, Annie here from Slovakia. I would like to ask all of you, please, how would you motivate local sections and national boards to somehow turn to you? Have they been struggling? Thank you.
Okay, so you're talking about the relationship between the international board and the local sections. My idea and my core belief is that in order for the international board to reach the sections, you need to have a strong national level, and this is the premise of my idea. So if you empower the national level, the national communication managers, and they are aware of everything that is going on in international, and they have the skills necessary, they will help you take care of the local level.
I can give you an example of what happened to us, because in Eastern Romania we almost had nothing when I started as a president. And what motivated my sections to be more aware of what's happening in Eastern and become better was to see examples of what other countries and sections are doing. And this got them very hyped up and really motivated to do more and to be better in what they do.
Okay, so communication, I think, is one of those areas that people only turn to you and ask for your help if they see expertise and if they see that you can actually do a really good job. It's very hard to say that the sections can contact directly the communication manager. Of course, there's no way that this can happen, and as much as we can want, we will never be able to do it. So the way to do it is through empowering the national level, like has been said. So during the communication summit, the major problem that arose was that there was not enough countries there, and this is something that I would like to emphasize on, getting away, get more people there, not only communication managers, but also for the countries that don't have a communication manager, someone interested in communication, so that they can implement it at the national level, and then the sections will rely on them for help in this area. Thank you.
Okay, I propose again to close the speakers list. Are there any objections? Then please come to the stage now. I have another small interruption. If Tomorrow display a slide, yes, exactly, and people can check whether their voting device is on this list and exchange it, because those are the voting devices that had some troubles. But we continue. You can do this quietly in the corner.
Hi, I'm Thanasis from Greece. In Greece, we have a new national project, which is called Erasmus Moment. How would you support such national initiatives or projects as a communication manager? And could you assimilate them to your strategy?
Definitely. So I've heard about this project, I've seen the videos. I think this project is a perfect example of something that can be co-branded with Move in Europe, for example. It's promoting mobility, it's promoting how being abroad changed your life. And for question one, sorry.
Could you assimilate those projects to your strategy?
I think it has been said here before as well, that it has a lot of charm by being a national project or a local project. So the way to empower it is basically to maybe contact sections, because I know you guys are going and filming in different places, so contact sections or give you, empower the visibility of your project so that other sections host you, and then you can promote much more and film much more.
ESN Romania has recently been contacted by your team, and we've been very enthusiastic in receiving you and working towards filming in our cities and in our country, showing ESN, Erasmus students, and so on. And as a communication manager, if this would be under me as a project, I don't think I should work too much, or I don't think I should try to get involved too much, because I think it's already working very well. But maybe we can always show examples and promote what's coming next, like create a strategy that the project would follow.
So I remember about a year ago when the national representative of ESN Greece approached the communication manager and the communication committee and asked for our collaboration on this project. I'm very, very happy to see that it turned out very well. I think it's absolutely beautiful. My opinion on this matter is that you have a national project that is strong and you should take ownership of it. In terms of how I would maybe assimilate it with our work is, at the moment we have an open call for the video team. So we would really like to have the talent in the committee. Obviously, you need to take care of the project that you have. But if your members are interested, we would love to have them. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi guys, I'm Dimitrios from ESN Greece. My question is more than anything about the role, the way you view the role of the communication manager. So, do you believe that the communication manager should have more of a managerial role or more of a creative approach? Or to phrase it differently, should he really be coming up with great ideas or define strategies such in a way that great ideas are born?
From my point of view, the communication manager should be 50-50, should be a manager, because when you outsource a project, for example, to Comcom, you have to be able to follow up and make sure that they're getting implemented. At the same time, I think the person should also be creative and pick the right moment to come up with a campaign or a strategy for a certain project that he or she can implement further.
No, I would have to agree. I don't think you can have a communication manager without communication and management. So basically, I think, however, the creativity is very important, especially because there are some things you cannot outsource. Things like partnership meetings with partners, where you have to show your creative ideas, promote them in order to engage them and have them stay with you. And also, there's some last-minute things that sometimes, unfortunately, you cannot outsource. So in general, it's a managerial job, but it would really needs a creative part, definitely.
Well, I believe that one of the very important things about the Erasmus Student Network is that we're a very bottom-up organization. So I think it's really important to let ideas flourish from the bottom and then spread out into the wider network. I think this has been proven with the This Is ESN campaign, for example. Having said that, I also believe that the communication manager needs to lead by example. So he has to have a degree of creativity. He has to inspire the rest of the people that he works with to get those ideas out of them.
Thanks a lot. Good luck, Joel.
I again propose to close the speakers list. Are there any objections? Okay, so the speakers list is closed. The remaining people on the speakers list are Dimitrios. Are you next? Is that your next? Uruch, Kasia, Kirko? No. Andreas, Shimon, Robert, Vin, Alexandra, Prokop, Paolo, Karolis, Oshden, Sakis, Marco, and Salvet, and Lara. The speakers list is closed.
Hello, Bulut from ESN in Istanbul. So my question for all of you: imagine that you're head of an agency that works as a company. So will that company that works the way the public relation agency works or the advertising agency works? So which path will you prefer to work as a head of that agency?
I'll give a quick answer if you don't mind. I believe in the softer sides of communication, in the more subtler sides of communication that can also have a much bigger impact than harder aspects. Is what I think, like advertising. So I believe in things like public relations, in things like public diplomacy, in things like guerrilla campaigns, for example, and I think they can be much more effective.
This is actually the first question that an interviewer would ask you, which part of communication you like more. And from my point of view, I personally like more PR, because I think with data resources you can do so much more. When it comes to advertising, it's a lot of creative thinking and strategy, but you have to also invest a lot of money. But I think I like PR more.
So let me just repeat, if I understood correctly, you're asking for more the advertising or PR?
Yeah, which way would you prefer to work as an agency?
So I think, well, it has to be a balance between both of them. Right now we have a really big grant for advertising in ESN, so I think it's really important to take care of that and to use it wisely, because otherwise this is a grant that you have to use, otherwise you don't have it anymore. But of course I have a really big passion for PR, so maybe I would go more with PR.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Kasia Gerle is Bond. I want to ask you about Communication Summit. We all been there, we saw what happened, like it was really cool, but not many countries attended. So I want to ask you about your strategy or vision for the next one, probably next year or maybe in a half year. What's your idea? How to encourage countries to send communication managers? How to encourage communication managers to come?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to just say that, again, like I said before, it's not just important that the communication managers come, it's important that a person interested in communication comes, even if the country doesn't have a communication manager. We've seen that this was one of the problems, and one of the solutions that I was thinking about, we have, of course, explored the feasibility of this, but if people see that they learn so much, they will come afterwards, but they need to come the first time. So I would like to investigate the possibility of organizing, applying for a grant for one meeting where we can bring one person from each country, and then the people would see that it's really very beneficial, very technical. They have a lot of workshops with about technical skills and strategic communication. So this would be my approach, if possible. But again, I have to emphasize that this has to be further explored. Thank you.
From my point of view, the communication summit could be a bit more, could be more successful if we would promote it better, not just through emails. Also, try to reach national boards to understand who is responsible for communication in there, and also try to emphasize what are the skills they will be getting after coming there, and what is the program. Because I believe that if they will see beforehand or why they should come there, they'll be more motivated. And
thanks, Kasia. So the approach that we've taken for this first communication summit was that we asked the national communication managers what they're interested in, what they expect from the summit, and we built the agenda, the workshops all around that. I think this has been successful, although of course I do agree that more countries need to be involved in order for the whole communication to be effective. Having said that, I think we reached almost capacity the last time in the ESN House, and if the ESN House doesn't expand, it would cost a lot more money to organize such a communication summit. So that's another issue there. But in terms of what I would do, I think one idea to make it more concrete is that the participants who come to the meeting need to show what they are going to bring. The idea is like one for one. So you bring an idea, you bring some kind of presentation, you bring something you share, but you also, before you leave, you present the one thing that you have learned and that you will take back with you to your national level.
Thank you.
Hello, Andreas from the UK. Thank you for your presentations. Question for everyone. Where in the area of external communications do you feel ESN is lacking, since most of the current communications material and campaigns are internally focused? Please do not include moving Europe in your answer. Thank you. Yes. Where in the area of external communications do you feel ESN is lacking?
I believe, which area of external communication do you think ESN is lacking?
Different areas like channels, tasks, and so on, that we can have a campaign. So where do you think ESN is lagging? Externally, not internally.
Okay, so I've mentioned a little bit about mass media. I don't want to repeat myself. I think mass media is a big part of external communication that we're missing. At the same time, I think also the comprehensive communication strategy that I propose also includes a strategy for external representation. So how would the communication work with the potential president, for example, or the vice president, or whoever else on the board that represents the organization? What kind of message we are sending when we go on external representation? How we, for example, look visually and how we come across to other people.
I also believe that representation may be one of the points that we're lacking currently. And I believe that if we would be able to create a more structured strategy, communication strategy, so that we would see concrete results of our work, would be a lot easier to keep track and see how we can improve.
Okay, so if you ask a random person on the street if they know about ESN, most probably they won't. And I think that the international level cannot fix this at the international level. This has to be fixed in the national level because, like someone mentioned before here, that the contacts with the media are mostly through national level. So I think the important thing is to teach the national level and emphasize the importance of maintaining a contact with press in their countries and actively send press releases about their activities, what they're doing in the local and national level. And in this way, we'll achieve much better external representation.
Thank you.
Hi, Szymon Jagiellon University is in Poland, and the question is very similar. So let's forget about students' community, partners, European institutions, and the reach we have on Facebook. Since AGM Milano, I heard about only one international news when ESN was mentioned in the topic of 1 million babies. So, do you think that we are visible enough outside the ESN, partners and students and so on?
I already kind of covered that answer with my previous answer, that emphasizing into teaching the national level how to maintain relationship with media in their countries. But also that we have a very valuable contact in the promotion department of Erasmus Plus, and explore even further this contact so that we can appear even more associated with their publications and their promotion. Thank you.
I think it really depends on your target audience. If you forget about all these institutions and universities and so on, I think we should emphasize more on the local level and try to encourage people to go abroad and have such an experience, because that will definitely change their lives.
I think there is absolutely a lot of potential to be had, but like I mentioned earlier, you need to know the right message to send to people. When we send a message to our volunteers, to you and to other ESNers, we send a message built upon dynamism, youth, and these kinds of ideas. I think one of the messages that has been proven to work with the wider society in the past is Erasmus in schools. This is something that not only has very strong key values that we hold dearly to ourselves, but also a very strong benefit to the wider society if it were to be effective.
Okay. Thank you and good luck.
Hello, Robert Vanet, ESN Poland. I've got a permission to start with a comment. As far as I'm concerned, we do not own, just lend the logo of ESN International that we all know. So we do not have all the rights to it, and that causes certain problems. So the question is, what is the future of the logo, and what will you do with it? That's the question. What is the future of the logo, and what will you do with it?
Okay, so I think this is a very delicate issue, and it's very hard to say anything without knowing the full background story. I'm pretty sure that if there was an easy solution, these guys would have already implemented it. So I think it needs some investigation and possibly dialogue with the owner of the logo, but I cannot offer you a concrete solution right now. I'm sorry. Thank you.
If I understood correctly, are you referring to a rebranding? I'm not very sure I understood your question that I'm asking. Yeah, I think this is a very delicate issue because of the copyright. But I wouldn't want to change this because we've invested a lot of effort into changing theme and enforcing the corporate identity, and I believe right now it should stay the way it is and look further for other ways we can work for a better branding of our network.
I really like the point that Ines made. It's not an easy thing to solve, and if it were, it would have been done already. I think this is really tricky because we don't own the logo. We can't really quite use it, but we can. And I don't see a way out of here unless we somehow really get rich and we can buy the logo, which we can't. I apologize to the person who came up with this idea because it wasn't mine. I think it's a radical idea, but in say like 10, 15 years, who knows, maybe ESN is ready for a complete rebranding. We've existed as an organization for 25 years now. The logo has changed a couple of times already. If you're talking about the long-term future, then I see that as a distinct possibility, yes.
Thank you very much, and good luck to all of you. Hello, I'm Wim from ESM Belgium. Good luck to you all with the candidacy. I have one question, and that is that how do you imagine the cooperation will be with the current intern who will be there already when you arrive, and the future interns in the future? How do you see the task division between you and this intern?
From my point of view, this is quite easy. During the transition period, I would have to understand how Robert worked with Juani and how I can work further with him. And I don't think this is going to be a problem. I think the task division would be pretty easy as long as he keeps doing what he likes and helps the communication manager finish the tasks.
I've mentioned it, but I've worked with Juanmi as well, especially in the ESM card project, promotional partnerships. There's already a plan in action. So internships usually have a plan that have to be delivered, and their learning is already set from the beginning. And I would be starting working with him while he already has a plan. So my idea would be to carry on this plan to the best potential, and maybe if there's something that doesn't work in the end, then we can revise it for the next intern. But I think that right now the business task is pretty clear and pretty helpful for you. Are you learning? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so with the current communication intern, I think we've tried to integrate him into the general communication efforts. I believe Robert, of course, thinks about that all the time. One example was, we also invited him to the communication summit or to the ComCom meetings, where he can also contribute and teach some of the skills to our members. In terms of the future, if there were to be a new communication intern, I believe that since the communication intern supports the work of the communication manager, the skills and the capabilities of the intern have to complement the ones of the international, the communication manager, sorry. So if the communication manager is strong in a certain area, it might be wise to have a communication intern that is strong in another area.
Hello? Do you see the importance of projects such as History Group? And what is your opinion regarding preserving the history of ESN International? Have you considered tackling this issue in order to maintain the collective access to the history of what we all do as ESN? So the future generations of ESNers will be able to learn how this all started? Bottom line, preserving our identity. If and how would you do it?
So this is a very cool project. I actually read the whole old history book, and I know a lot of cool stuff thanks to it. And like these guys even called me like the ESN's encyclopedia back in Portugal. I think it's very important. Sorry. Okay, I think it's very important, and I think it shows a lot the difficulty that we had gathering information, that we lack a proper system of archiving information in ESN. We are achieving it much more in the latter years with the wiki. I wouldn't invest so much effort into such an internal tool in a very regular basis. So I think right now we have the history book, 25 years. It's very important. I think information must be provided timely and all the time, let's say, not through a single project that invests so much resources of the network, while we could invest them into more external stuff for the sections and for the students. Thank you.
The last history book took ages to be completed, so I think it's a very complicated and complex project. And as Ines said, I wouldn't really want to invest so much effort into it unless if I will be elected, I will have a very clear plan of how to get these materials, where to preserve them, and how to show them part of the network. Something that can be done in order for the sections to learn more about our network is to include small pieces of information that they should know in the presentation about ESN.
So first of all, Prokop, thank you so very much for being a part of the history book team. You've experienced it as much as I've experienced it. I consider the history book a little bit like my little baby, because I had the strong urge to come up with an update. I was reading the history book and there was so much interesting information in there, and we're always talking about high turnover and loss of information, and the history book is one way in which information is preserved. Having said that, we've come across a lot of challenges when we're making the history book. There is at the moment almost absolutely nothing dedicated to the archiving in ESN. I believe the Secretariat has an archiving structure, but we need to have a wider approach to archiving. So I think I would even recommend the international bodies of ESN to look into how this can be done, to set up a team, for example, that would that would look at how can we approach our archiving better. How can we even maybe have a team that starts to archive information.
Hello, Paulo Iasamamo. My question is to all of you. Knowing about the current collaboration between Robert and Adam, will you continue working together with the future WPA? If yes, how?
Well, through the ESN card project, being PR and developing the website, I've been very much in contact with this reality that is super important that a communication person and an IT person develop this kind of platforms, because it's the only way to achieve user-friendly and at the same time appealing platform. So of course, I think, I can emphasize more into this relationship, being very together and cooperative for development of all of the platforms in ESN. Thank you.
I think the fact that there should be a collaboration between the communication manager and the WPA, it's self-understandable, let's say. But I've experienced some collaboration with IT members when I was working in Malaysia. It was a pretty great experience because I've learned a lot of stuff, user experience from them, and I also learned a lot of marketing strategies that we've had in order to implement the project better. So I think that'll be pretty easy.
Absolutely. If I were to be elected, I would really look forward to working with Adam or whoever would be the next communication manager. I think the one thing that the two parties have in common is that they both have a lot of focus to the user experience. So the IT builds the kind of systems, the structures necessary for people to be able to experience a platform well and they are able to enjoy it. And the communication manager, makes it look nice and puts everything well together. So a platform like Galaxy, for example, could really benefit from this relationship.
Hi guys, Carlos, CSM Lithuania. First of all, congratulations on the amazing work you've done. And my question is, in case you get elected, what would you do differently than the previous communication manager?
Quick answer is more approach towards mass media.
Well, before I answer, I just want to say that I'm very happy to see so many Comcom members on stage. I think I counted 9 of them, so I'm very happy to see you also involved in the communication of ESN. Something that I would do different. Yeah, I think I will go in the same lines. I think in the second year you could show much more of externally oriented image and promotion. So I think this is what I would do. I would start by maintaining the already existent internal campaign, internal communication, but of course focus it more externally and especially develop much more the communication community. I'm sorry.
Something that maybe I would do different than Robert, maybe try to build a bit more, let's say, on the deadline, and also try to work closer with the communication committee.
Thank you, and all the best.
Hello, Azan, National PR of Turkey. My question is, if you have any unique ideas, can you explain one of your unique ideas or campaigns and projects step by step? When you can, like, you will do it when you come to power, like, become the communication manager.
From my point of view, there's so many ideas, innovative ideas that you can bring. There's so many projects, so it's very hard to give an example for all of them. If I were to choose, maybe I can give an example of the communication summit, where I would like to promote it better through maybe more visuals, maybe explain a little bit what campaigns that people would understand a little bit better and how they were done and how they can implement it themselves, so that they can see the benefit and keep track of their expectations and how the international level can provide better solutions for them.
Sorry, can we have this question? I could use that. Sorry.
If you have any unique ideas, can you explain them step by step?
Again, I think we all presented here a lot of ideas, so if we go through them step by step, it won't be 45 seconds. But definitely something that I would like to emphasize, that all of the ideas and all of the projects involve teams, involve Comcom, involve the intern, etc. And through being in the project team, I've come to realize that the best way to work with teams is to, from the beginning, sit down and develop the action plan together with the team. Then the team takes more ownership of it, and then it will enforce it with much more emphasis. So this would be something that I would emphasize a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. You might have noticed I mentioned campaigns a couple of times in my presentation. I think an effective campaign is absolutely beautiful for myself and for everyone else that benefits from the campaign. I really want to curate a campaign that inspires ESNers to seek opportunities outside of ESN. How did ESN help me, for example, and how can that be used in the future outside of ESN? Now, having said that, the finer details would have to be collaborated on with other parties, like at the Communication Summit, for example.
Hi, Sakis, ESN Greece. Are you planning to take advantage of national events, communication-wise, and how?
Okay, quick answer there. I believe that the national events are something that the national boards should be very proud of. There are some absolutely beautiful national events that only came up, from the national levels. I think if the communication manager takes care of the national communication managers, then national communication managers would be effectively able to help national events realize their goals more effectively.
I've mentioned in my presentation that I would like to work closer with to reach to the local sections, mainly that through national events, such as national platforms or other communication platforms, let's say, people can be trained in terms of communication. That is what we're talking about, and they would be able to learn more and not only gain more experience towards ESN and how can do things in ESN better, but also try to be able to emphasize their work and maybe the numbers they've worked with for their future career.
Okay, so I think the biggest role that the international level can play and the promotion at national events is the exchange of best practices between the countries that have national events. In terms of international, we don't have national events for students directly. So our role would be to facilitate the knowledge transfer between the national communication managers and also to emphasize to them that the image of their events should reflect their image. So each country has their own identity, so the communication of their events should reflect and be integrated with their communication. Thank you.
I'm Satya from Germany. My question is for all of you. What's your favorite content management system and why? Should I repeat? What's your favorite content management system and why?
Well, I've only worked with Hootsuite so far, and I like it because it gives you, it's pretty easy to use. You can add a lot of communication channels that you're using, just Facebook or Twitter. You can manage all your content. You can see the history, and you can also see some numbers that can help you work better.
I really can't remember the name of it, but the system that we use between the PR managers of the projects right now. So we have an integrated platform, Facebook Business something, I can't remember the name, sorry. But basically it integrates all the posts of all the different pages, so ESN card, the PR, responsible party, the ESN International itself, and all the platforms, and this is the one that I've been using. I think it's proven to be very effective, and it's also the one that is installed in the headquarters. So I think it would be easy for me to use this one.
I'm also not sure if I'm understanding the question correctly, but I mean, in terms of content management system, we're talking about Drupal, right? Drupal is a content management system. I've worked with that personally. I've worked with a couple of other content management systems. I cannot say which is my favorite because Drupal is the only one that I'm really familiar with.
Hi, Laura from ESN Joensuu. You've mentioned that creativity and fast thinking are important, so I'm going to test those right now, right? I want you to imagine ESN Sydney has been founded, and what sort of communication or social media campaign would you implement, like a hashtag or a slogan? You could give us an example.
I think Australia is a country that is very, thanks for asking, by the way, very nice one to end with. I think Australia is a country that is a little bit isolated geographically, so we need to highlight that and try to kind of involve them a little bit more by saying something like, "It's all happening down under," something like that.
When your world turns upside down, you can always count on the help of ESN Sydney. Thank you.
I don't know if I should choose a country. But maybe if I were to choose a country, somebody that really recently conducted it was Moldova, who wanted to join ESN. So maybe I would try to go with the line, try the Moldovan experience.
Thank you guys so much. All the best.
Okay, please sit down. Okay. A couple of important things. We will go until around 7 o'clock, and then you will go to your national platforms. We have to be extremely disciplined now because we still have the candidate rounds of the WPAs, and we still need to fit in the presentation of the standing orders. We will have the discussion on them tomorrow, but the presentation we will have today, and we finish today with the last round of tests of the voting devices. I want to, because I know it's a long day, I want to quickly ask for a short energizer and ask the educators on stage.
Wil beter, Johan. Ben je ook tevreden? Echt veel beter geweest. Ja, rustig.
Senpai, denk ik van ik question round. Absoluut. Wij zijn een paar kleine dingen bij de kant heen.
Klaar bij nemen en is het goed.
Okay, guys, are you sleepy? That's what I thought. So, right now, we're gonna ride horses. It's a horse racing energizer. So, stand up.
I was streaming this whole thing to my friends. 5 people are watching now.
Bend your knees a little, and we're ready.
This is Doreen. She's the national representative
To the left.
of ESN the Netherlands.
To the right.
This guy just did a
And jump. And jump again. To the left. To the left. To the left. Oh, it's a bumpy track. And we have to dodge. But don't forget to ride. And slower. Faster.
Let's see.
Faster. And full gallop.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
And jump.
Thanks for watching.
And dodge.